Hi, my name's Tyler Thurman, owner and founder of Tyler Thurman Coaching. Some of you know me as Coach Ty for my blogs online. And this is the third video of a three-part series that I've been holding on the three principles, which I encourage you to go back and check out the first two before you watch these. But this third part is on the third principle, which is often called mind, not to be mistaken with the brain. The brain is it's a physical organ, if you will, entity. And the mind, at least talked about within the principles community, is a spiritual essence, if you will. It's what a lot of people mean when they use the word God, when they're not talking about the bearded man in the sky. It's sort of the energy and intelligence behind life. And it's also the most difficult to talk about in my experience, because I can point to what I see, but it's formless. This essence that we all come from and that we're all connected to, we're all part of. But I'm going to do my best. So, one of the first ways that I like to talk about is look at the fact that we're all alive. The miracle of life. We're living. And there seems to be some difference between our physical bodies when they're alive and when they're no longer alive, when they've stopped working. And I first noticed that I worked with cadavers in my undergraduate studies, and it was just so obvious to me that life force, that energizing and animating force behind life that we call mind or spirit or God, it wasn't there. The essence of who that person was, that body, that was no longer present. That was just obvious to me. It was clear. Simple. And so this, in relation to the principles, the mind it's like the fabric of who we are. That, again, that sort of intelligence behind life. And I talk about intelligence. It's kind of like you think about, acorns, they always become oak trees. They don't become pine trees. They don't become, fruit-bearing orange trees. I sometimes talk about, go make a flower grow. Go make a flower. Can you make a flower grow? Well, no, you can plant the seed and water it and provide sort of optimal environment circumstances, but you can't make that flower grow. That's part of the design of the system. And one of the things that we find in the principles, and if you take a closer look at the human experience, that we have sort of a default, much like the body. The body, it's easy for people to see in the body. The body has a healing default. So if we get a cut, we don't sit there and we don't consciously think, I will heal I'm gonna clot the blood, and then I'm gonna heal that cut. You don't have to think about it, because the system is designed to heal itself. Well, as far as our mental, emotional, spiritual lives are concerned, we have a default that most people don't notice, they're not aware of, they haven't had an insight into. And that default is well-being, peace of mind, joy, wellness, okayness. That is you. That's your nature. You ever notice that babies, when their physical needs are met, they've got a clean diaper and they've rested up and they've got food, they're pretty blissed out. They're joyful. There's not much on their minds. They're just hanging out in the experience of life. As my mentor Michael Neal talks about, that's what life feels like. It's that peace, that okayness, that love. One of my other favorite teachers and coaches, Robert Holden, he talks about how we are love and happiness and joy, minus our neurosis, or as I like to say, minus our miserable thinking. And if you take a look at certain practices like meditation practices and just experiences where there's not a whole lot on your mind, you'll notice it's not an empty nothing feeling attached to it. In other words, it's not neutral. It's not that we default to nothing. But when there's not much on your mind and it's quiet in there, it actually feels like peace and joy. It feels amazing and wonderful. And you feel connected to life and other human beings, and you can see things, see the love in other people. You see that connection, that humanity, that shared humanity. That's mind. That's spirit. That's God. That's what I'm talking about. I'm pointing to that divine essence of who we are. So there's like the character of us, which is like the conditioned self, the us that is completely made of thought. It's a collection of our thinking that we've accumulated over the years. And then there's the us that a lot of people we don't get in touch with much, we don't think about much, we don't have much of a relationship with. But I talk about it as our essence, who we really are. And I think for me, those practices of a quiet mind and that feeling of peace and joy and contentment and well-being speak to that mind, that spirit, that intelligence behind life. Because it's not empty, it's not neutral, it's not nothing. It's what Sydney Banks often talks about is that deeper feeling. Look for the deeper feeling. That's who we really are. And you'll notice the more and more that you're not really taking your thoughts seriously. And you're just letting them go. The more you settle into, you fall back into that well-being, that essence of who you are. I liken it to a beach ball. And the beach balls are well-being, right? And through our thinking, so we've been taught we've got to get in there and to experience those deeper feelings. We gotta do something about it. So we try to think our way towards it. We try to act and behave our way towards it. And all that's like pushing the beach ball down under the water. And it's a struggle and it's a fight and we're pushing it down, And the moment that we let go, that we stop trying to fix ourselves, just floats right back up to the surface. It's the same with mind, the essence of who we are. If that's our nature, then you don't have to do anything to get back to it. That would be like saying, as one of my favorite analogies from Michael Neal, somebody coming to me and saying, I really want a nose. I've been hearing about these nose things that everybody has, and I want one. What do I need to do? And give me some strategies and things to take on so I can achieve having a nose. Well, it's right here in front of you. It's right here in front of you. She couldn't see it for all the thinking. And so this mind, when we begin to see who we really are, that our nature is wellness, that there's this connectedness to life. Some people call it energy. If you put the very seemingly solid things in this room under a microscope, you'd see mostly empty space. It's all just oscillating, vibrating energy. We're all made of the same fabric. When we begin to see who we really are, we get glimpses of it. I don't claim to hang out in that place all the time. I don't even claim to have, had an enlightenment experience where, I'm completely at one with the universe. But I've had glimpses. Of that. And when you begin to glimpse your true nature, the nature of mind, life becomes a lot gentler. Because there's a part of yourself, there's a part of everybody, the spiritual essence, that is untouched and unfazed by the dramas of everyday life, the happenings, the circumstances. And it's always there, waiting. The presence of love. For me, that is the most comforting thing in the world. There's a line from A Course in Miracles, which is one of my favorite spiritual texts. And it says, if you knew who walked beside you on every step of this journey that you have chosen, you would never experience fear or doubt again. if you truly knew. Those are powerful words. And it's that powerful when you glimpse what's behind life. I don't claim to have all the answers. I can only point you in that direction. Because that's the best I can do, is I can look in that direction and see what I see. So I encourage you to look in the direction of mind, of Spirit of God, of the intelligence behind life, of life itself. Life is a miracle. The very fact that I'm here talking with you, it's a miracle that, a man and a woman got together and a sperm and an egg found each other. That's miraculous. If you look to that, you might not see it exactly the way I see it, but you will see something, because what I'm pointing to is there. Doesn't matter how you talk about it. And your experience of life will transform. Another way that this manifests is when it comes to mind and consciousness and thought with the three principles. We talk about this wisdom that comes forth. So there's like a deeper thought, almost, where we're not really choosing our thinking in any moment, but we can grab onto those certain thoughts, those fear thoughts, those sad thoughts, those anxiety-ridden thoughts. We can grab onto them and think them and ruminate on them. We don't really pull them out of the ethers, out of nothing. We don't choose them and place them in our minds. And so when our minds we allow them to get quiet, like that snow globe, a deeper level of thought, we talk about as wisdom, comes through. And you'll get insights. Insights into the nature of these three principles, if that's what you're curious about. We get insights into whatever creative endeavors we're engaged with. So a business person, they're going to get insights into their business. Songwriter, they're going to get insights into creative nature of song and music and writing. You're going to get insights about geared towards you, because of that deeper intelligence, those aha moments. Where do those come from? They come from nothing, otherwise known as mind or spirit or God. And that wisdom, that deeper intelligence, that will guide you to live a more wonderful life than you can possibly imagine. Now, if you're interested in continuing this conversation with me, with these three principles, again, they're the foundation of the coaching work that I do. And I'm passionate about them. They've transformed my life personally more than anything I've ever found. And I've been a seeker my whole life. If you're interested in continuing this conversation, please contact me. It's my passion, it's my love to support people to transform their own lives in this conversation, within this context of the three principles. And so please check my website. You're probably on it right now if you're watching this, but www.coach Tyler Thurman, TYLERTHURMAN.blogspot.com. There's tons of free resources there. And feel free to call me for a complimentary consultation. 503-389-3778 is my office number. And I'm happy. It would be my joy to support you, to transform your life in the way that these principles have transformed mine and have helped thousands of other people live more peaceful, joyful, loving, connected, amazing, wonderful lives.